What's going on here? It's the Bearded One here, back again with another beer review. I know you're surprised that I'm here to review beer, but that's what we do here on this channel. This is a special alternative series I'm going to be referring to as my Milestone series. And what I mean by that is I'm going to review each beer that I consider to be a milestone in my beer journey throughout my life. We'll see where this series goes. I'm definitely not going to go in chronological order from my first beer to X beer to Y beer to Z beer. I'm going to kind of skip around and cover beers that were just important to me, stuck out to me, whether I drink them all the time or I haven't touched them in years. Loved them, hated them, doesn't matter. I think it'll just be fun for me to cover some beers that played an important role in my beer journey, and kind of a fun way, I think, to talk about my beer journey. Sure, you know by the title, we're doing Truck Stop Honey. So we'll go ahead and get that out here. It's by Back 40 Brewery there in Gadsden, Alabama. Now, what makes this a milestone for me? This was my first ever local Alabama beer. Not local to me because I live maybe an hour away from Gadsden. I'm in Decatur. Don't come looking for me. But I consider anything north of Coleman to be local to me because it's Alabama. We're not Portland, Oregon. We're not Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're not Boston, Massachusetts. We don't have hundreds of breweries everywhere. So anyways, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied. So how this beer became a milestone for me, I went to a bar in downtown Huntsville. If you live in Alabama, you may know this bar. It's still open, still active, still got a little scene going there called Humphrey's. Not too far from Sammy T's and Mickey's. I don't know if Mickey's is still there. Rattlesnake Saloon? No. Anyways, Sammy T's is all you need to know. It's down there by Sammy T's in downtown Huntsville. If you're ever in Huntsville, you'll check out Humphrey's. Cool little place, got some live music. I caught a guy that works at the infamous Fame Studios in Florence. I don't know if it was that night, but Neil something is his name. He plays acoustic guitar at this place. Cool little gig. I enjoyed going there. I might take my wife there in the future. Went there and had a Truck Stop Honey. A good friend of mine, my best friend, had been talking about Bag 40 beer, and I'd heard the name Truck Stop Honey for a while now. This was somewhere between... Let's see, I turned 18 in 2008, so I turned 21 in 2011, if my math is correct. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a mathematician here. So, judging by that math, somewhere around 2013, 2014, maybe even 2015, but I had met my wife by this point. I'm gonna go with 2013, maybe. Went into Humphreys and had this beer, and I didn't like it. It is a brown ale, and I'm looking forward to revisiting this beer. I didn't find a lot of interesting things about this beer on their website. It's just a standard descriptor. It is a English style brown ale, medium bodied, and it's brewed with Alabama wildflower honey, roast malt, and fresh hops. And that's all I got from there. I got some cool stuff. There's a lot of information about the brewery themselves on their website. You'll just have to go there. It's back40beer.com. So if you want to know more about this brewery, if you're from Alabama or the area, surrounding states or whatever, you can go to that website and find a lot more about these guys. They're overtly Alabama. They're proud to be from Alabama. They're proud to be Southern. Their name Back 40 references the Back 40 property of a farm, and that is considered wasteland and the hardest and manageable land on a ranch or a farm. And why they named their company that is, they believed at the time when they started their brewery in 2008 or 2009, well, that's when they officially opened their doors. They had, according to their founder, they'd been prepping for about 10 years. But yeah, they opened their brewery in about 2009 and called it Back 40 because they believed at the time Alabama was a wasteland of craft beer. Now, that has changed since then. We've got a popping craft beer scene in the state now. It's not as mature of a market as some states, for sure. But, you know, we've got like 10, 15 breweries in Huntsville. We've got one or two in Madison, depending on what you count as Madison. We have one in my hometown, Decatur. We got one in Florence, one in Coleman, Gadsden. I don't know, between 7 and 10 in Birmingham. Tuscaloosa has one. Mobile's got a few. Montgomery's got a few. I think Auburn might have one. So yeah, we've got breweries all over the place now. It's a happening little beer scene. Let's get into the beer, guys. I've gone 8 minutes and I haven't even poured the beer. I just get talky and I get carried away, and since this is a sentimental series for me, I'm going to be a little talky. So yeah, I didn't enjoy this beer the first time. Had it at Humphreys again. We'll see how I like it this time. This might be something that's kind of silly to say, but there was a lot more beer in this smaller, fatter can than I think. It's like Founders has bottles like these, and then this bottle, like the shorter, fatter bottles, hold the same 12 ounces as everybody else, but it's just a mental thing. I just think it holds less beer than it really does. Appearance, it's got that muddy ale, unfiltered look. I don't want to necessarily say it's unfiltered. It's definitely, it looks like mud. You know, I think that's actually kind of appropriate for how overtly Alabama Back 40 tries to be. Muddy water, just, that's, I don't mean this as a bad thing, but the beer to me looks like muddy water. You might take that as a negative thing, but to me, I think that's kind of cool that this looks like muddy water, because again, this brewery is trying to be overtly Alabama, overtly Southern, and it just adds to that that aura that their brown ale looks like muddy water. looks like something that would come from Alabama, or what you would stereotypically think would come from Alabama for those of you not from the state. Head dissipated. There wasn't a lot of head going on. I mean, there's some carbonation action going on. There's some bubbles dancing around, but it's nothing. I mean, it's not a volatile beer by any means. Now, I did say this looks like muddy water, but when I put it up to the light, it looks like a deep brownish copper color. It gets really copper, bronzy looking in the center of the beer. So let's get into the aroma. I smell a lot of the malt. I think I smell that wildflower honey. I'm not smelling hops too much, and I just looked at the Best Buy date. It's February 7th, 2019, and this I'm recording this in March of 2019, so we're out of the freshness stage, but I don't care. I'm the bearded one. I'm gonna drink this anyways and tell you what I think, because some beers you can age and they'll taste fine. I had an 11-month-old Dirty Bastard. I already reviewed it, and it didn't bother me none. I'm going for one more sip. So I get the typical nutty flavor that you find in brown ales. I get some honey, but it tastes more like the wildflower honey. It tastes more like a malt, honey malt, than like squirting honey in the beer. Excuse me, I seen a burp a lot on video, and I'm sorry if that bothers you. The honey malt's kind of dancing in there with those nutty notes. I'm thinking that they used, well, actually they did say roasted malts, and I'm on their website, and sorry, I'm looking for the IBUs, the alcohol percentage. I don't disclose the IBUs or the alcohol percentage on that bottle. But yeah, I'm getting the roasty malt. So I'm thinking they put caramel roast in there, judging by the color. There's enough hops to balance it out. It's got enough bitterness in there. But I mean, it's balanced like you would expect in a brown ale. Kind of prickly carbonation, not too much. that carbonation dissipates on the tongue very quickly. Kind of lighter, light to medium bodied, but I mean almost not even a light medium. Definitely leaning towards the light bodied. I don't know if the age has anything to do with this beer, but it's just very delicate, so that's why I've been going back to it and back to it and back to it. Really trying to feel everything out and make sure I've got everything, you know, I'm tasting everything that I can taste. So yeah, it's an alright beer. I'm not a huge fan of brown ales, but if you're a fan of a brown ale, maybe you want to support Alabama, that'd be cool. I would respect you for it. Get you some Truck Stop Honey Brown Ale. I know it's, I don't know how it is anymore. Times change with beer, trends come and go. This brewery isn't very trendy anymore. It's not the new kid on the block. It's been around for a while. It's put in time. It's a veteran of Alabama beer. Everybody knows about Truck Stop Honey. So I don't know how popular it is anymore. But pick you up some Truck Stop Honey Brown Ale. It's a standard brown ale. I mean, you got your roasted malts. You got enough varying hops to even it out. You got the honey wildflower in there. It's kind of subdued, in my opinion. Got the nuttiness that you definitely get in a brown ale. Just a prototypical brown ale. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of a 5. I think it's just a standard run-of-the-mill beer. It's a flagship by Brown 40, and it tastes like a flagship. It tastes like something they're trying to sell to everybody and not just a specific niche crowd with specific palates. I know this video was long. I apologize for that. I'll try to make my next Milestone video a lot shorter. Until next time, everybody, cheers and roll tide.